Hi, my name is Gabriel Costa, and I'll be breaking down two sections in Chapter 1, which is titled, What is Deviant Behavior? The two sections that I'll be breaking down is the introduction and another section titled Conflicting Definitions. In the introduction, an example of deviant behavior given is that of actor Charlie Sheen, who today is most known for his drug abuse and bizarre behaviors. Many sociologists question if he is truly deviant or if he is just a product of his generation and frequent drug abuse. Many people, along with many sociologists, have a different definition for what they believe deviance actually is. In a classic study performed by J.L. Simmons, people gave their opinion on who they classified as deviant, and some examples were given. These examples are drug users, murderers, the mentally ill, the retired, and last but not least, know-it-all professors. Everyone has a different perspective on what deviance actually is. This is where conflicting definitions comes into play. What conflicting definitions is the influence of two opposing perspectives, and those are positivism and social construction. The positivist perspective is associated with the sciences such as physics, chemistry, or biology. The constructionist perspective is a fundamental in humanities such as art, language, or philosophy. In sociology of deviance, the positivist defines deviance as positively real. The constructionist defines deviance as a social construction that has been created by society for such behavior or action.
Hello everybody, my name is Cody Adams, and today I'm going to be talking about absolutism, which is one of the positive perspectives. This positive perspective holds deviance to be absolutely or intrinsically real, and that it possesses some qualities that distinguish it from conventionality. Sociologists who are influenced by such a perspective tend to view deviant behavior as an attribute that inheres in an individual. This view was first strongly held by the early criminologists who believed that criminals possessed certain biological traits that were absent in law-abiding people. The biological traits were believed to include defective genes, bumps on the head, a long lower jaw, scanty beard, and a tough body build. Since all these traits are inherited, criminals were believed to be born as such. Early criminologists also believed that criminals had characteristics that non-criminals did not have, such as being feeble-minded, psychotic, neurotic, psychopathic, or mentally disturbed. They believed that these mental characteristics reside in the criminal forever and that they couldn't be changed. Today's positivist sociologists have abandoned this view, and they recognize that important role of social factors in determining a person's status as a criminal, and that it doesn't remain in the criminal and the same across time and space. Instead, it changes in different periods with different societies. For example, a polygamist may be a criminal in the United States, but they are law-abiding citizens in Islamic countries. Positive sociologists still regard deviance absolutely or intrinsically real, but they focus on their study on deviant behavior and deviant persons rather than on non-deviants who label others as deviants.
The positivist perspective consists of three main assumptions about what deviant behavior is. These assumptions are absolutism, objectivism, and determinism. With objectivism, scientists or positivist sociologists can study deviant behavior as an observable object. They believe that they can be as objective in studying behavior as natural scientists can be in studying physical phenomena. The positivist sociologists treat the deviants as objects. This is a little hard to do because the sociologists themselves are humans. So what helps them doing this is by not passing moral judgment on deviant behavior or by sharing the deviant person's feelings. Instead, they try to concentrate on the subject matter as it outwardly appears. Further, these sociologists have tried as closely as possible to follow the scientific rule. The unfortunate outcome of these reports is that they're all official criminal acts, and it's only a special group of deviants because most crimes and delinquent acts are not discovered, and therefore not included in these official reports. Nevertheless, positivists believe that the quality of the information obtained by these methods can be improved and refined. In the meantime, they consider the information, though inadequate, useful for revealing at least some aspect of the totality of deviant behavior. A major reason for using the information is to seek out the causes of deviant behavior.
Hi everyone, my name's Kathy, and today I'm going to speak to you about Chapter 1, and we're going to focus on the constructionist perspective. So I'm going to get started right away. Since the 1960s, constructional perception has developed to challenge the positivist perspective. There are some assumptions of the constructionist perspective that are opposite to those of the positivist perspective. So one assumption is labeling deviance. Deviant characteristics do not come from the behavior itself, instead from some people's minds. An act appears deviant only because some people think it so. Deviance is a mental idea. Deviance is socially created, defined as such by society. Constructionists stay away from studying deviance. Instead, they are more interested in why a given act is defined by society as deviant. This leads to study of people who label others as deviant. For example, police and other law enforcing are often labeled as deviant. To constructionists, deviant behavior is a particular personal experience.
I'm Erica Aguilera, and my section for Textbook 1, Chapter 1 is titled An Integrated View. And in this section, we talked about to know deviant behavior, you need to know the two types of perspectives, which are the positivist perspective, which sees deviance as a behavior, and the constructionist perspective, which sees deviance as more of a label. Both of these perspectives work better together, making deviance both a behavior and a label. When dealing with positivist perspective, you're dealing with what is considered more serious behaviors, such as murder, rape, and armed robbery. And constructionist perspective deals with what is considered less serious deviance, which include adulterers, prostitutes, drug users, strippers, sex tourists, tax evaders, and many others. Public consensus has a lot to do with whether a behavior is deviant or not. Usually positivist perspectives have higher public consensus because these behaviors are more deviant, and constructionist perspective usually have less public consensus. So the public has a lot to do with considering a behavior deviant. You can put deviance either highly deviant or low deviant, meaning you're conforming to the norm. We classify deviant behavior in two types, the first being higher consensus deviance, and these include things such as robbery and homicide, and this is often studied by the positivists. And the next one is lower consensus deviance, which include corporate fraud and governmental abuse, and that is all studied by the constructionists. Today we are interested in studying both types of deviance, so both perspectives now deal with both types. The positivist and constructionist perspective both help define what we consider to be deviant behavior. And that is the end of that.
Hello, my name is Peter Aguilera, and I'll be discussing a word of deviance and crime. Many students consider sociology of deviance and criminology to be the same, although both actually differ from one another. While it is true sociology of deviance can cover crime, and criminology can be influenced by the sociology of deviance, but they still focuses on different things from each other. Sociology of deviance focuses on different types of deviance besides crime, and criminology focuses mainly on crime. I'll be discussing the differences between the two. Number 1. Crime focuses on the violation of law, whereas deviant doesn't. While it is true there are certain types of deviance that can be both deviant and crime, for example, murder, rape, and robbery, deviance is still different from crime. Deviant means departing from social norms, standards, and what's generally accepted by society. This can fall in the line of dancing while naked, binge drinking, and joining cults. Number 2. Crime focuses on the violation of formal norms, which means laws, whereas deviance focuses on the violation of informal norms, which comes from popular belief. Individuals who violate the formal norm are subjugated to be punished through fines, tickets, and imprisonment conducted by police officers, sheriffs, judges, and correctional officers and control agents. Whereas individuals who violate the informal norm, are hereby punished through shaming, shunning, rejection, and condemnation from peers, family, loved ones, friends, and even strangers. Number 3. There are vast, if not infinite number of types of deviance than there are of crime. Crime mainly focuses on behavior, and that is because there are laws that goes against certain unacceptable types of behavior. Now, deviants can focus on behavior, but that's not the only thing they focus. They focus a far more greater number of types of deviance than crime can ever focus on. This can fall in the line of, say, physical to psychological conditions, characteristics, personality, traits, and quirks. For example, obesity. Obesity is one. Another one could be mental illness, those who are obsessed with perfectionism, and individuals who consider themselves to be horrendously ugly than their peers are all different types of deviance. Lastly, number 4. While it is true that there are certain types of deviance that can be both deviance and crime, the same can be applied to crime as well. There are certain types of crimes that can be both crime and deviant. Crimes like murder, rape, and robbery are not only just crime, but they're deviant because not only they're violating the formative norm, they're also violating the informal norm as well. However, most types of crimes are actually just normative behavior. And what I mean by normative behavior, I mean that they're generally common all throughout society, and they're generally common all throughout society, and there's little to no public uproar. Crimes like gambling and cohabitation, although generally common throughout society and doesn't cause little to no uproar, is still considered crimes. There are certain states that still consider this a crime, and those still be subjugated to punishment. But nevertheless, regardless, as there are certain types of deviance that are crimes, there are crimes that can also be deviant.